please remain standing for the national anthem, the posting of the colors, and through the conclusion of the alma mater. You may be seated. Good evening. I'm Kate Beatty, the Carthage High School principal, and it's my pleasure to welcome families, friends, faculty, and most importantly, the class of 2019 to Carthage High School's commencement ceremony. I also have the pleasure of welcoming several guests this evening. Seated behind the podium are Mr. Troy Hebert, High School Assistant Principal, Mr. Peter Turner, Superintendent of Schools, Mrs. Jennifer Primo, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and Board of Education members, Mr. Joe Colangelo and Mrs. Erin Bazert. I would also like to recognize the senior class advisors, Mrs. Heather Randall Neville and Mr. Richard Lajoie. There are also several people and groups to thank for helping organize this evening's ceremony. Thank you to the Junior ROTC Color Guard, the Carthage High School Band directed by Mrs. Jennifer Waterhouse, and the Camerata Singers directed by Mr. Marvin Zaire. Finally, thank you to the various departments who put a great deal of time into preparing for tonight, including Mrs. Kylie Gadba on the office staff, our technology department, Mr. Chris Otat for setting up the sound, our maintenance staff for preparing the field, tonight's photographer, Mr. Tony Urbaniak, and Upstate Landscaping. I also have the great pleasure this evening of introducing several student speakers. The first speaker is Matthew Sandville. Matthew is the son of Joseph and Denise Sandville. Matt served as the student government president during this school year. He earned an Army ROTC scholarship to attend Clarkson University in the fall, where he will study chemical engineering.
Graduates of Carthage Central High School. First off, I want to thank every parent for being here today to suffer with us through this heat. Well, at least you guys don't have to wear the gowns. Second, I want to thank all the faculty members who did their jobs and allowed us to make it where we are today, on this field, shaking hands with our principal. And lastly, I want to congratulate all you students for making it here with me. Now, since nobody wants me to be on this field forever, I will leave you with this, a wonderful quote from a teacher this year. Got her, baby. Mr. Walsman.
The next speaker is Leland O'Brien. Leland is the son of Terrence and Paige O'Brien. He served as the senior class president this year. Leland will be attending Hamilton College in the fall to study government and public policy.
Get up a little bit. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Tonight is all about recognition, and as I begin my speech as class president, I would like to recognize two people whose Carthage legacy is significant. My grandmother, Patricia Johnson, who served on the school board here for over 20 years, and our current superintendent, Mr. Peter Turner. Both spent decades in dedication to our Carthage district. Stay tuned for more about Grandma later, but for now, I would like to share a story about Mr. Turner, who is attending his last June graduation tonight, as he is officially retiring in January after being a teacher, high school principal, and now superintendent here at Carthage. Mr. Turner, I remember one day when I was in 6th grade, you called me by my name in the hall, and I thought it made me a celebrity. I was strutting around like I was famous, all because the superintendent knew my name. Not only did this not make me famous, but I also neglected to consider that my grandmother, my mother, and her 4 siblings were perhaps more responsible for why you knew who I was. So, Mr. Turner, I am grateful for the moments when you greeted me in the halls, even if I wasn't a celebrity, and I thank you for your leadership and service. Although, over these past 4 years, my classmates and I really would have appreciated a few more snow days and 2-hour delays to sleep in, but I digress. For those of you who don't remember my name from Miss Beatty's introduction, I am Leland O'Brien. I've had the great honor to serve as class president for all of our 4 years of high school. Those closest to me know I'm a huge Oprah Winfrey fan, and one thing she asks her guests is this: what do you know for sure? One thing I know for sure is that I have truly loved this role. I've gained so much insight into the art of representing my peers and upholding our school's traditions, and I know for sure I have grown tremendously as a leader because of it. Today, I can further tell you for sure that this class is a collection of vibrant personalities, compassionate hearts, and spirited souls. Yet, we are also rebellious, outspoken, and maybe even a little argumentative. As I stand before you performing my last presidential duty, I can also say for sure we've all made choices to get ourselves here. And we all deserve this night, regardless of where we started or are now finishing this path of our educational journey. A journey which required all of us to show courage in some way, including on the first day of ninth grade, whether we'd want to admit it or not. So, in the spirit of Theodore Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss, I crafted this poem offering a glimpse into the path of our past. On our first day as freshmen, right off the bus, the academy hallway awaited all of us. Orientation was held with Sedita in charge in the auditorium which seemed so very large. The ninth grade teachers met us with glee, but fear of our schedules made us want to flee. Lunch was a relief even on that red tray, but we didn't know in which line we needed to stay. We had to perform community service, and talking to strangers made some of us nervous. The race to donate the most canned goods began, and we collected so many to fill a big van. Sophomore year came around soon enough, but moving upstairs proved to be rough. We decorated the hall in the theme of Guess Who, and even had a fire requiring a rescue. In biology class, as was Weaver's routine, she offered advice from which we could glean. Safety comes first, and so does great care, to stay away from parties with booze in the air. While many of our classes proved to be hard, geometry was so bad it left us all scarred. Common Core was the monster we all learned to fear. We refused to believe it would last for a whole school year. As juniors, we collected memories that remain, but the need for hall passes became such a pain. Our pep rally performance proved to be at the top, and down into second place the seniors did drop. Drama never ceased, she pulled us all in, and we all had a version of the story to spin. Fights over girlfriends caused quite a stir, but Alec chasing TJ is now just a blur. Trig was much better with Mrs. Blank's smiling face, but Mrs. LaPointe kept the pressure to avoid a regent's disgrace. We learned about nonfiction whether we wanted or not, and the demanding SATs made grammar a hot spot. Senior season began with a very strong start. The homecoming game was played with all heart. We also had a new person put in charge of our school, and it turned out that Miss Beatty is pretty darn cool. Our advisor, Miss Neville, bossed us around because the fruit of the effort was to be Boston bound. With the trip on the line, it was fundraisers galore. If we worked hard enough, we'd be the class she'd adore. Our last week in high school was oh bittersweet. We laughed and we cried and we hoped for a treat. With an eye on some mischief and senior pranks, we charted a plan emptying our piggy banks. The days of our youth may come to an end, but our yearbook will be here now that it's penned, preserving the legacy that we leave behind, a collection of quotes and pages well signed. So here's to my classmates who are funny indeed, and introductions to each other they certainly don't need. From this year's Carthadian, full of senior spirit and more, these quotes from my classmates I do just adore. We seniors seem to have an interest in food, as Nora Barber expresses for her senior quote, "The school breadsticks were the only things that kept me going." At this point in the evening, we all might agree with what Michaela Klein writes. I could use a hug and like 86 chicken nuggets. Me too, Michaela, me too. We also tended to have a few boastful quotes, including Luke Smith, as he touts his physique and writes, "Education is important, but big biceps are importanter." Skylar Greenfield goes on to claim, "When you're good, you're good. When you're great, you're me." There also was a fair batch of candid quotes, including Joe Forney's, whose quote was, "Sorry I'm late." The fourth-rate Lourdes Signal chose to write, "They say you get nowhere in life cheating." They lied. Devin Sullivan, sparing no one, says, "Well, this sucked." Grant Gardner wrote, "I don't normally enjoy long romantic walks, but when I do, they're to my deer stand." The majority of us chose to focus on a more inspirational message. Kylie Wilson, along with 4 other students who chose to quote the sitcom The Office, wrote this more sober quote, "I am ready to face any challenge that may be foolish enough to face me." This next one, not from The Office, but Bailey Kinzel selected a great one in "But for now we are young. Let's stand in the sun and count every beautiful thing we can see." Lastly, for my favorite quote in the yearbook, and no, it's not my own, comes from one of our foreign exchange students, Atharva Cole from India, who unfortunately can't be with us tonight as he has already returned home. He wrote, "It's okay to be scared. Being scared means you're about to do something really, really brave." And how brave he must have been to spend this year apart from his family. Speaking of family, I am fortunate enough and grateful to have had the start that I did from my own family. So now I would like to thank my mom, dad, and sister, Gabrielle. I don't know how I can ever repay you all for the last 17 years. It was the best childhood a kid could ever ask for. Your influence, guidance, and unconditional love have made me into the person I am today, with the future I have ahead of me. And I know for sure if it weren't for the 3 of you, my path would be far more uncertain. I also want to acknowledge my Grandma Johnson, who I mentioned earlier, whose commitment to the district's future as a school board member for over 20 years greatly enhanced the lives of countless Carthage students who have graduated before us. From this vantage point, many of us could argue one of her most influential achievements was her assistance in the approval to establish the sport of lacrosse to become part of our athletic offerings here. And we all know the immeasurable opportunities that the sport has brought to our school community. Grandma, thank you. Your legacy of leadership provided me with a goal, even as a young person, to strive to lead this class of 2019 and to proudly serve as their representative in our community. As I prepare to end my address, I want to share this one last quote by Teddy Roosevelt. "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again and again, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly." So my final words to you all are this: dare greatly, choose courage over comfort, turn your wounds into wisdom, and be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. Because, as Oprah so wisely says, the path is your purpose. Thank you.
The next speaker is Lukas Paroli. He's the son of Tom and Lori Paroli. Luke achieved the designation of the class of 2019 salutatorian with an overall average of 99.244 during his high school career. He'll be attending Salisbury University in the fall to study finance and to play on the lacrosse team.
Good evening, students, faculty, family, and friends. I'd like to thank you all for attending the graduation ceremony for the Carthage High School class of 2019. I am truly honored to be speaking in front of a crowd of such terrific people. From teachers to friends and family, you have made a profound investment into the development and success of these students. On behalf of the entire graduating class, I'd like to thank you all so much for the unceasing guidance, support, and encouragement that got us here today. It's graduation day, the day we've all anticipated, dreamed of, and longed for these past 12 plus years. It is hard to believe that after countless hours of studying, homework, and sitting or sleeping through class, we have finally made it. Although it was a long and difficult journey, it was more than worth it. Tonight, we walk away with more than just a diploma. In addition to an exceptional education, we carry with us lasting friendships and extraordinary memories. From the the classroom to the hallways, athletic fields, and art and music rooms, we have enjoyed unforgettable moments and forged lifelong bonds. Years from now, we may look back upon these times as the good old days, but make no mistake, our brightest days are yet to come. Our time at Carthage has made us all well prepared to venture out into the world and make something of ourselves. The same hard work, determination, and perseverance that got us here today will be invaluable to our future endeavors. I have no doubt that everyone who is graduating today is capable of achieving success and happiness in their lives. I encourage each and every one of you to pursue what you are passionate about. After all, life is too short for you to be doing something that doesn't make you happy. As Joe Dirt once said, life's a garden, dig it. Thus, live life to the fullest and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. Dream big and don't allow anyone to stand in the way of those dreams. If you believe in yourself and continue to strive for excellence, I know that you will get all you want and more out of life. Therefore, I'd like to encourage the class of 2019 to follow your dreams and pursue what is important to you. Find success and happiness in everything you do and make a positive difference in the lives of others. I am truly privileged to have attended high school with you all and would like to thank you for the countless memories and friendships. Best of luck in all of your future endeavors. Thank you.
Our final speaker is the class of 2019 valedictorian Carlton Huff. He is the son of Sean and Barbara Huff. Carlton earned the status of valedictorian with an overall average of 99.331. He will be attending Eastman School of Music in the fall to study double bass performance.
So, class of 2019, here we are. This is it. This is the big day. After 4 years of high school, we've finally made it. So for me, it feels like most of my time in those 4 years has probably been spent trying to figure out what I was going to say in this speech in front of such a large group of young adults like myself, ready to go and make their way in the world, as well as to everyone here to support those young adults. So I'll start with this. Thank you. The support I've received from some people here has been phenomenal, and even though each person probably deserves a lot of recognition, I'd like to be out of here before this time tomorrow, so I'll keep my thank yous relatively brief. So first of all, my great friends. It really took me until this year to find a supportive group of friends who I knew I could stick with in the future, and I couldn't be more thankful. Secondly, my teachers. I can't overstate the value of some of you. I genuinely wouldn't be close to the person I am now without the influence of some great teachers, whether they be in the classroom, the sports field, the concert hall, the church, or any other place where I'm capable of learning. Along with that, I'd like to make sure that all of our non-teaching faculty and staff gets a shout. I'm not sure if anyone realizes how much we can really take pride in our staff, whether they be administrative, custodial, involved in food service, or otherwise, but they really do a great job, even if us as the student body doesn't always recognize that. Lastly, I'd like to thank some people who may feel underappreciated at times by me, and that is my family, especially my parents. I don't know if I always make clear my appreciation for them, for their unyielding support, but I really cannot express it enough. Thank you again. Anyway, I'd like to offer my thoughts and hopes for this class going forward, aided a lot by other people's thoughts. So, frankly, I've had a lot of doubts and probably even more frustrations over the past 4 years. I can't tell you I'm content with the way things are anywhere, much less here, and if I spend a lot of time with you, you probably know that. There's no shortages of problems that we have to be the ones to solve, and as most of them are rooted in our culture, this is not going to be easy. But it's work that has to be done. We can't go on excusing ourselves by saying, I'm not really into politics, or always into that sustainability stuff, or yeah, that won't really make a difference, because we're facing issues that touch not only the lives of others that we should care about, but that are facing us. We can't continue to be apathetic, much less take pride in our apathy and joke about it. As we're moving out of high school and into the so-called real world, we need to be the ones to change that world. So, how do we go about doing this? So I'll make you a simple list of things to do that was just kind of some of my thoughts on this, and then I'll stop talking and allow us all to cross that bridge to the real world. So number 1, value other humans. No matter what you think about somebody, they are deserving of love, and you should always be willing to help and support them in efforts to better things. Number 2, understand how little numbers or any words mean. It's probably kind of ironic that I'm standing up here because of a number on my transcript, and yet I'm telling you they don't matter. But judgment should be made based on the inherent good in people and things, and not on resumes or titles or names or anything else. In my yearbook, one of my teachers and role models wrote to me, "There's a piece of good in everything. Look for it." Number 3, let everything you do be with purpose and with good purpose. I'm sure most of you know how your coach might tell you to pass the soccer ball to your teammate instead of just kicking it, or how your music teacher will talk about how there's always a direction to a phrase or something. There's always a direction to life. Make the direction of yours onwards and upwards. Numbers 4 and 5. Make your goal to always be better than you were the day before and to have a net positive on the world. Finally, number 6. Be the change you wish to see. Do all of this without fear. I can't guarantee that all of your friends are always going to support you in your endeavors to better the world, although if they don't, they're probably not great friends anyways. But I can assure you that history will support you in this. Anyways, enough with that list. So now I'd like to say, once again, thank you for everything, Carthage. I wish everyone here the best, and I hope there's nothing less than greatness in all of our futures. But before I go, I would like to leave with some general thoughts on still making the world better. Avoid single-use plastics. Go thrift shopping. Go to a farmer's market. Love, understand, and have empathy for others. Work towards saving the bees. Support renewable energy. Compost. Let your actions be an act of regeneration instead of depletion. And lastly, for the love of God, please vaccinate your kids. Thank you, Carthage.
Thank you again to the Camerata Singers. Beautifully done as always. And thank you, Matt, Leland, Luke, and Carlton. You have and continue to represent yourselves and your class with poise and maturity. As one of the speeches mentioned, no class is without drama or bumps in the road. However, this class will truly be remembered for what they are leaving behind at Carthage High School. They are a class that has been dedicated to making themselves better and making Carthage a better school and community. Going back to Leland's remarks, I think I can speak for Mrs. Neville, myself, and many others here by saying that we have greatly enjoyed, quote, bossing you around. Everyone wants to be recognized for their success and achievements. This class certainly does not lack in this area, and I have no doubt that this will continue. In fact, I cannot wait to hear about what you accomplish next. If this group contains the leaders of our future, then we are truly in good hands. Having said that, one thing about awards and recognition is that there are only so much to go around. There are many of you who have quietly worked hard, persevered through challenges, and accomplished things worthy of celebration. Just know that we notice, and others will too, so keep it up. Also keep in mind that when the awards and recognition have been handed out, what really remains is the effect you've had on those around you. Last weekend, I attended the baccalaureate service that was organized to honor the class of 2019. Each year, this service includes a Carthage staff member as a guest speaker. This year, the speaker was someone I'm very proud to call a colleague, Barb Huff. I listened closely to her heartfelt words, and her message is one that stayed with me. She too talked about the many accomplishments of this group and bright futures in store for our soon-to-be graduates. But she also reminded us that we should be aware of those around us and think about how we treat people. We should remember to be kind, take time to help others, spend time with those around us, and never miss an opportunity to let others know that they matter. Of all of the praise I could give this class, likely keeping us here well past dark, I think what I will remember most is your kindness, your willingness and drive to help and serve others, whether classmates, teachers, or your community. You've also provided an unmatched support system to one another. I've watched you encourage and support one another time after time. Make sure you hold on to these admirable qualities as you begin the next chapter. We are all very proud of you, and we share your excitement for reaching this milestone. But at the same time, we will miss you. Please celebrate with friends and family and enjoy this time, but be careful and keep yourself safe. From the Carthage family to you and your families, congratulations and best wishes. We will now present the class of 2019 with their diplomas.
Matthew Eli Sandville. Leland Michael O'Brien. Lukas Joseph Paroli. Carlton Nelson Huff. Spencer Joseph Graham Ames. Morgan James Archer. Brian Patrick Arrigo. Connor Joseph Ashlaw. Nicholas Stephen Paul Aubin. Ryan Michael Babcock. Nathan Guido Bach. Kyle Baldwin. Zane Nathaniel Baxter. Zachary Michael Bigelow. James Richard Bishop. David James Booth. Logan Wendell Brown. Michael Efrain Castillo. Alexander John Contant. Malachi Deshaun Catan. Brent Julius Cummins. Jacob Dylan Demko. Noah Parker Dutton. Isaiah Parker Ellisor. Sean Hughes Cole. Joelle Elizabeth Alford. Ariana Alexa Elmy. Nora Marie Barber. Sarah Marie Bennett. Colleen Tanya Best. Annalise Kirsten Bowden. Bethany Leanne Brown. Trinity Simone Bryant. Mackenzie Page Bushy. Shelby Raylan Buskey. Tyann Aaliyah Cabrera. Sylvia Jade Rose Campany. Ashley Paige Chapman. Karina Lynn Claflin. Kylie Lynn Covey. Emma Margaret Cabillan. Mikaela Ima Dancer. Haley Elizabeth Davis. Morgan Rebecca DeRosia. Aaron Ray Joy Diskin. Tiffany Leanne Doyle. Jessica Nicole Draper. Kiara Mackenzie Dufresne. Beatrice Sonsoles Encinas Munoz. Chance Eric Fernandez. Trevor Anthony Filiatro. Alec Thomas Ford. Anthony Joseph Ford. Joseph James Forney. Matthew Allen Gagnon. Grant Leonard Gardner. Timothy James Gittins. Jacob Timothy Goldthright. Alexander Ramon Gonzalez. Kane Ethan Gravel. Skylar Austin Greenfield. Hunter Ethan Grimm. Brandon Joel Gutierrez. Christian Noel Gutierrez. Austin James Hamilton. Marcus Timothy Hanks. Jeffrey Michael Hansen. Isaiah Anthony Harrison. David Eugene Hickman, Jr. Gerard Marvin Huff. Devin Dwight Hutchins. Taylor Lee Intorsha. Justin Orville Johnson. Taylor Rose Fargo. Emily Ray Falk. Rebecca Lynn Fifield. Jacqueline Alani Flores. Julia Caitlin Fox. Rebecca Lynn Getman. Alora Kelly Gill. Isabel Monet Gump. Brian Lynette Hansen. Emily Hogan. Haley Leanne Hawk. Cassandra Irene Hayes. Sarah Jacqueline Hennessy. Carly Rebecca Hill. Jenna Marie House. Katie Joe Hustis. Mariah Gabrielle Johnson. Jamie Ellen Jones. Joanna Moesha Kidd. Bailey Terringer Kinzel. Michaela Ray Klein. Sierra Taisha Lawrence. Michaela May Lee. Reagan Elizabeth Lundy. Taylor Nicole McNabb. Ryan Elisha Kale. Matthew Charles Crokel. Zachariah Isaiah Lappy. Derek Lee Lewis. Jeffrey Anthony Lohr. Hunter Joseph Loftus. Jacob Edward Maxwell. Jonathan Persuade McCarthy. Jeremy David McCatton. Aiden Gage Milden. Garrett Richard Miller. Jacob Samuel Millich. Damian Blade Mills. William Anthony Murphy. Zachary Noah Joseph Myers. Nicholas Andrew Neff. Gabriel Jesse Dana O'Crowley. Noah Alexander Parks. Keegan James Peretta. Cody Michael Phelan. Jarrett Ralph Phillips. Hunter James Pierce. Jacob Dylan Pierce. Andrew Paul James Priest. Michael Alexander Heroes Helis. Allison Paige Malman. Kaylin Michelle Maxwell. Taylor Danielle McBride. Brittany Shakira McKenzie. Jessica Renee Monahan. Mackenzie Renee Morgan. Serena Lee Mosier. Lauren Haley Meyer. Madison K. Meyer. Mackenzie Paige Meyer. Rachel Elizabeth Nevels. Alexis Gail Newman. Claire Marie Odette. Megan Lane Oliver. Hannah Beth Orton. Megan Caprice Ostrander. Tiana Danae Parchment. Cassandra Rosalind Patrick. Grace Jean Petrus. Lori Ann Pierce. Alexis Caitlin Plimpton. Kisura Kumsun Poku. McKenna May Porter. Courtney Lee Rayborn. Emily Rose Robbins. Benjamin Corey Richards. Danavian Markel Riley. Kurt Thomas Rivers. Michael Richard Rolu. Tyler Kao Sepan. Camden Michael Sanders. Hunter Michael Sanders. Nathan Robert Scott. Matthew James Champagne. Willie Charles Signell V. Luke Nathaniel Smith. Tristan Stephen Snyder. Mason Gregory Spencer. Lukas John Stiles. Devin Michael Sullivan. Stephen James Sullivan. Jalen Dwight Towler. Clay Wesley Kennedy Turner. Tejan Anthony Turner. Shane Andrew Tyndall. Jason Raymond Eulinger II. Justin Uribe. Devin Noel Van Lengen. Raul Jose Vargas. Tanner Riley Walker. Jordan Christopher Williams. Michael Wilmert. Maria Vittoria Ronconi. Morgan Taylor Ryan. Rachel Lynn Scott. Michaela Michelle Shaw. Samantha Autumn Shim. Natalie Rose Schoen. Lourdes Lauren Signal. Tazadia Camilla Smith. Tazaria Betty Smith. Alexis Marie Snavely. Madison Annalise Stites. Rain Elizabeth Stokes. Tara Lynn Sullivan. Megan Jean Sweeney. Shireen Thapa. Jamie Ann Turpin. Zoe Ann Vaccaro. Christina Lynn West. Autumn Destiny Whitley. Melody Amanda K. Wilhoit. Kimaya Rush Williams. Kylie Madison Wilson. Madison Lee Wilson. Chantel Dominique Woodward.
this time, please stand for the retiring of the colors and remain standing until the colors have left the field. Carthage High School class of 2019. You have received your high school diplomas, but we have one task remaining. Please move your tassels from your right side to your left side, representing your completion of all high school requirements. You are now considered high school graduates. Congratulations!